Hi, I'm Ghost, your intelligence specialist. I track threat actors, monitor the dark web, contain breached accounts, assess your third parties, gather the latest vulnerabilities and exploits, and deliver daily intel updates. Let's keep your business one step ahead.
What global threat activities occurred in the past week?
Global threat activity this week revolves around active exploitation of critical software and network infrastructure. Multiple high-impact vulnerabilities were disclosed or weaponized, including Nginx Rift, Cisco Catalyst, SD-WAN, Microsoft Exchange on-premises, Linux kernel flaws, and several WordPress and Next.js issues. Many of these already have proof-of-concept tools, scanners, or in the wild exploitation. Nation-state aligned groups including China, linked actors, Mustang Panda, and Belarus. Aligned Ghostwriter continued espionage and phishing campaigns using custom malware backdoors and Cobalt Strike. Supply chain and software ecosystem risks increased through a Trojanized Node IPC NPM package and a broader push toward exploiting AI frameworks and developer tooling. Ransomware and data extortion remained a concern with the massive Canvas education breach and continued pressure on the education sector. At the same time, defenders gained new capabilities, such as Android intrusion logging for high-risk users. The most effective response is rapid patching of exposed systems, tightening identity security and hunting for indicators tied to these exploits and backdoors, while treating AI and developer environments as critical assets.
What critical and high-risk NVD vulnerabilities have been released in the past 72 hours?
There have been 15 high or critical NVD vulnerabilities in the last 72 hours. 1 is critical and 14 are high. The critical issue is CVE 2020-37168 in e-commerce. SystemPay 1.0, which lets attackers brute force the payment signing key and change transaction amounts. Several high-severity flaws hit YAML components including SQL injection and directory traversal that expose database data or server files. There is a high-risk remote code execution in MKAuth via arbitrary file upload. Network exposure includes a Huawei HG630V2 router authentication bypass that gives attackers admin access using the serial number. On endpoints, there are multiple local privilege escalation and code execution paths through Atomic Alarm Clock, IO-bit uninstaller, AMD cleanup, Utility Radeon, RGB tool, and AMD RAID. AMD secure processor and graphics firmware bugs allow tampering with protected memory and virtual machine data. Finally, a buffer overflow in Firmament autopilot firmware affects embedded control systems. Focus first on payment systems, exposed web applications, routers, and AMD drivers or utilities.
What are our latest leaked passwords and Stealer malware infections?
Here is your current credential exposure picture. You have 50 low-severity leaked passwords for acmecorp2.com from public breaches between September 2024 and February 2025. Most are hashed values from teg.com.au. 2 are more concerning because they are human-readable. 1 is rbachelor at acmecorp2.com with password C1QOPB83, A32 from elitdress.ru. The other is pfraser at acmecorp2.com with password Sandy from 3lparenting.com. You should assume those users may have reused that password elsewhere. In parallel, there are 50 low-severity Stealer malware records tied to acmecorp1.com and acmecorp2.com customers. These show repeated reuse of weak passwords like Darshan1658854, William Raji B12345I11U5 Clifford RD, and Jan Madek 16. Although marked low, these indicate real Stealer infections at customer endpoints. Next steps: search your identity provider for any accounts currently using these exposed passwords. Force password resets and revoke active sessions for any matches. Add targeted monitoring for the listed usernames. If you like, I can narrow this data to internal corporate identities only and produce a step-by-step reset plan.
Perform a supply chain monitoring assessment of Acme Corporation and send me a report.
Sure thing. Here is your supply chain monitoring assessment report, and let me know if you have any questions.